Do you mind?
No, please do.
Thank you. My name is Linn Foltz, and I've been here many times, and we did Maple Ridge, Washington Pike, and the reason why I'm here tonight is to explain a situation that I became aware of only last Thursday. So I apologize for not getting on the agenda formally, but I thought I would take comments. I've submitted today to Mr. Giudice a right to know and I'm talking about the Maple Ridge pump station on Washington Pike that was given to me and to the Municipal Authority adjacent to All Club Metal. In 16 November 2010, I installed and was approved to the sum of $600,000. I installed a lift station adjacent to All Clad Metals, Keystone, Crane, Belisara, etc. And for that, since I was asked by the Municipal Authority to install a pump station that would handle the entire watershed, I did. And I installed it to the tune of $791,000. Part of the arrangement was that I entered into a reimbursement agreement with the Municipal Authority, and what I was doing there in the master plan as I was coming to the township and getting approval for all this. My 10-year agreement ends 16 November of 2020.
That agreement's with who, Mr. Foltz?
That agreement, sir, Don, is between the Cecil Township Municipal Authority, myself, as owner of Maple Leaf Homes.
So you know that this board will not be aware of that agreement, correct?
So, unfortunately, you're at the wrong board meeting.
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, we have no information about municipal authority.
Okay, but you did issue a permit in this process, and that's why I'm here.
No.
We did not.
Yeah, no, we
The
did
board
not.
did not.
You issued a permit for a temporary sanitary holding tank, correct?
Yes.
That's fine. Okay. So my reimbursement agreement runs out in November of this year. So for each tap, according to this agreement, I'm entitled to $914.75. All right. Now, the reason why I sent, let me back up, please. In February 19th of 2019, the Sanitary Authority entered into an agreement with Traditions of America, referred to as TOA, and they asked for and they paid for 346 sewer taps at $250 a piece. So in order to commit this usage amount to the township, to the Municipal Authority, to TOA paid them paid $86,500, okay? And they paid them to the effect they had to pay on or before June 30th, 2019, okay? So now Traditions of America went in and they paid for their taps, okay? I was never notified. As it says in my agreement, I should have been notified by certified mail.
Can I see a copy? Can we see a copy of
I'll
it?
call them out a copy. Sure. So I saw Walter Oshinsky last Thursday, late in the afternoon. I came back to work on Friday. I tried to call and get some, but everybody was kind of heading out for the nice weekend. And so I had a right to know form for the Municipal Authority, and then I was told, and I believe it's true, that the township issued a temporary sanitary holding tank permit, all right? So I called the plumber I'm working with now, and I asked him, it's Ryko, and he has about 80 plumbers, and I said, so under what circumstances do you issue a temporary sanitary holding tank? He said, normally, when you have a septic system goes bad and isn't perking right, you hook up this temporary thing, you empty it, and you service it. He said in about 3 times out of the last 10 years that he's been the operations manager for Ryko, about 3 times he's hooked up a temporary holding tank for a sales trailer in the new development. Well, they have 6 or 7 model homes, okay? They have holding tanks up to them, and yet the building permit was issued, okay? An occupancy permit is not issued. We have 21 structures under roof, and they're not tapped in, but yet they already paid for the taps, and my reimbursement wasn't honored. And it says in my agreement that once a tap is honored, is issued, then I'll receive within 30 days a certified letter.
But understand that what you're talking about right now is something that needs to be addressed with the Cecil Township Municipal Authority.
Then why would the township have the authority to issue a temporary holding tank?
Temporary holding tank doesn't,
Go ahead, Dan.
you're talking apples
Hold
and
on,
oranges.
hold on. Dan, go ahead.
So the circumstances related to this are that there's a concern that the actual sanitary sewer for connection will not be to these units in time. The municipal authority would not sign off on their part of the building permit until such time as they knew that at least temporary facilities are put in place. So a holding tank is a temporary facility, and they will be removed after they make tap. So I don't think it's desirous of anybody to not let them tap in. It's a question of when the sanitary sewer gets to their location. And you, having worked with the municipal authority, if anybody know that until the sewer is installed, tested, and as-built plans are provided, easements are in place, everything's done, they don't consider the sewer done. And they won't issue the tap.
And I
So
understand.
this is a temporary situation, and that's why the township intervened and said, at least on these model units, that they would compromise and allow to use the holding tank.
In a respectful manner then, why would Traditions of America has agreed to pay all tapping fees to CTMA for all 346 units in the amount of $86,500.
That's a municipal authority issue. That's not this board's issue.
But this board issued, because it didn't have the taps, they issued the holding tanks.
No. The taps were always issued. The planning module is approved.
Right.
It's a question of physical construction,
Timing.
of time, yeah, having the units available for use or occupancy. You heard the man there say tonight that most likely they won't even use those tanks, that they will have people tapped in. I mean, I think your argument with the municipal authority is I think what you're saying is they've already accepted tap money, so they should pay you.
So they should reimburse me, but in order for them to continue to operate, the township gave them a permit for the temporary holding tanks.
Please understand, and not to interrupt, we have no authority to force Cecil Township Municipal Authority to pay you that tap in. So I understand what you're trying to say, but you're before the wrong board. There's literally nothing that we can do.
Did you in fact not issue a temporary holding permit?
It's a
Didn't
whole.
Washington Co-op issue that permit?
No.
No.
No,
But it's
no,
Didn't it come from the township?
no.
The temporary holding permit? Right, but the temporary voting permit has nothing to do with fees and what they collected and what you think you're owed.
Right.
That's all separate issues.
But it certainly has something to do with the sanitary system and the plant.
Not, no,
Because
because
it's
it's
not
just
in-
a timing issue. It's not that they might not get the taps, it's that it's when. So it's not if they're gonna get it, it's when they're gonna get it.
Exactly.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying that you're owed a sum of money for those tap-ins, correct?
Tap-in fees have been paid, and my reimbursement agreement should kick in.
Okay,
And one of
and
the things they're
that may
doing,
be so.
excuse me, one of the things they're not doing is they're not tapping in as fast as they could, and I understand the rock issue, but the fact as a result, then you go to temporary holding tanks.
But Lynn, you're only due a tap fee for those units that physically connect.
They
And your
connect.
point is that we've intervened and let them put the holding tanks in so they can, you insinuating that they're avoiding tapping into the sewer now because of the holding tanks?
I'm saying there's holding tanks there instead of taps in the sewer system, because the sewer system isn't fair at this point.
Right, but it's totally bonded and will be constructed.
Did you hear the gentleman from Traditions of America who said that they don't intend to even use them and they will be removed?
You mean the engineer from PGE?
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
so,
that was the rep from Traditions of America that was here.
yeah,
I apologize.
yeah, so not Grant, the gentleman that was sitting right here.
So, I mean, they collected money up front, but they didn't collect the total of the tap-in fee. They won't collect that until such time as the unit ties in and they give a permit, right?
No, it says they're paid, I get paid.
Okay, well then, I think the argument's more with them. I mean,
Yeah.
all we did was try to facilitate the fact that the sewers might not be there. And as you know, people move, they might need to get into units, and this was a temporary measure just until the sewer was there.
So part of the reason for the temporary owning tax, where people might be moving into the house
That's correct.
without a sewer tap.
Yeah.
They have their sewer taps, they already paid for them in advance.
No.
No, let's be clear. There could be a couple units that have occupancy. That was the whole point of getting the holding tanks. They couldn't occupy unless there were sewage facilities there.
Right, but the amount of taps have already been paid for and reserved by TOA with the Cecil Township Municipal Authority. So it doesn't, I mean, there's no
But
conceivable
who
way.
who issues the occupancy permit?
The township, Cecil Township does.
So really, you could issue an occupancy permit without them being tapped into sanitary sources.
Or have sewage facilities. So, and the sewage council was consulted on this, so.
Yeah. Here, not only were they consulted, but the Traditions of America got a copy of my agreement, but I didn't get a copy of their agreement in relationship to the installation of sanitary sewers. Okay, just so the point's made,
Thank you,
we all understand. Okay?
thank you.